Hello students, welcome to the Module 20 of Communication Research titled Reporting Research Findings. I am Nischit, Finance Officer of the Bangalore Central University, presenting you this model today. We'll talk about the module. The module deals with the goal of the research gets realized when research findings are reported for the examination by other researchers, government and industry bodies, and others having an interest in the industry area. Also, re-examination and confirmation of the reported findings by other researchers widens the horizons of knowledge. Against this backdrop, this module is structured to explain how to report research findings through the three major formats. First, thesis dissertation. Second, research articles. And thirdly, research reports. All aspects relating to these formats are dealt with in the first unit of the module titled How to Report Research Findings. The referencing styles and ethical principles of research are detailed in the second unit titled Reference Styles and Research Ethics. The module objectives are, firstly, to introduce the characteristics of three main research reporting formats: theses, research articles, and research reports. Secondly, to explain the structure of chapters in the thesis dissertation and sections in research articles and reports. Thirdly, to explain the prevalent reference styles in reporting research, to discuss the various ethical aspects of research. Let's now deal with the Unit 1 of the Module 20, How to Report Research Findings. This unit focuses on three research report formats: thesis dissertation, research articles for publications in journals, and research report. The unit also gives an overview of the content of each chapter or section in these reporting formats. The first being formats for reporting research findings. Reporting the findings of the study in a systematic way is the final step in research process. Generally, research findings are presented in three formats. As I discussed earlier, the first format being thesis or dissertation. The second is a research article for journals. Third is research reports. Let's now discuss on the thesis or dissertation. Thesis and dissertation are written discourse on a topic of research and interest and relevance. Both are requirement for obtaining a university degree, either a master's degree or PhD. There is no uniformity in the usage of these terms. In the US, a thesis is a requirement for a master's degree and a dissertation for a PhD. In European countries, a dissertation is a requirement for master's degree, while thesis is submitted for a PhD. In India, the European context is followed. Thesis must be written keeping in view the target audience, which consists of thesis examiners and students and other researchers. At most, attention must be paid for the form and content of the thesis. The style of presentation in a thesis must be lucid, free from grammatical error, gender-neutral language, proper text formatting, judicious use of heading and subheadings, appropriate visual aids like charts, maps, and drawings, and reference list are other features of a good thesis. Common structure of a thesis. Usually, a thesis in social science will have 5 chapters. First, the introduction. Second, literature review. Third, methodology. 4, data analysis and findings. And lastly, the 5th point being conclusion and recommendations. Chapter 1, Introduction. Let's now talk about the introduction chapter in the thesis. The introduction chapter serves as a gateway to the research study. It introduces the thesis topic, provides a clear justification for conducting the study, explains the methodology, research setting, and the theoretical framework around which study is conceived and conducted. The theoretical framework includes concepts, ideas, and related theories which lay the foundation for research. Before discussing the specific problem, the research topic requires to be significant within the theoretical framework. Most researchers segment the first chapter into the following 3 sections. The first section being Statement of the Problem. This segment includes the nature of study, its theoretical background, conceptual clarifications, and history of the problem, and the like. The second section would deal with rationale for the study. This section answers questions like, why is this particular topic being researched? What is the significance of the topic? How would it fill the knowledge gap? And how will it produce new knowledge? The third section deals with aims of the study. Many researchers state their study aims in the introductory chapter itself, while others place them in the methodology chapter. A better strategy would be to give a brief account of the study aims in the first chapter and a detailed description in the third chapter. Students, now let's talk about chapter 2 of the thesis. The chapter 2 deals with literature review. This chapter covers the reviews of previous research literature in the subject domain. Recapping the essence of relevant and significant research in the study area will help inform readers of the critical studies and the status of knowledge and the gaps that needs to be filled. Moreover, literature reviews helps the researcher avoid duplication by identifying research gaps and planning the study to build the existing knowledge. Well, as Oliver observes, literature review seeks to lay the foundation for the current study. Hence, relevant studies need to be discussed briefly and connected to the current one. Literature review chapter starts with an introductory paragraph that details the objectives of the chapter and its structure. The chapter can be divided into sections for conceptual clarity and reading ease. Now let's talk about the chapter 3, that is methodology. Methodology chapter details the design or plan of the research work. The research design, in fact, is finalized before the work begins. However, it is written as a chapter after the work is over. The methodology details are usually presented under the following section: research objectives, research questions, hypothesis, theoretical framework, data collection tools, and method. Each section must provide details for other researchers to have a clear understanding of the methods used. Now, the fourth chapter of the thesis would be data analysis and findings. This chapter, as the title implies, presents the findings arrived through data analysis. The findings are presented sequentially concerning the study objectives and research questions and hypotheses in quantitative studies. A narrative description of the findings concerning study objectives or research questions is provided in qualitative studies. In quantitative studies, the studying findings are explained with descriptive and inferential statistics along with test results presented in the form of tables. The chapter ends with concluding remarks on the overall findings from data analysis. The fifth chapter includes conclusion and recommendations. The primary function of the final chapter, titled Conclusions and Recommendations, is to explain the significance of the research output and logically moves to the conclusion the researcher has arrived at from the study. In that process, it highlights the knowledge the study has generated, it identifies the limitations of the study, and recommends areas for future research. Based on the study findings, recommendations can be made for modifications in policies and action plans by the concerned authorities. Students, now let's talk about research articles for journals. Researchers publish their study results in research journals in the form of research articles. Unlike popular publications, research journals are for an academic or technical audience, not for the general readers. Journal of Communication, Communication Quarterly, and Public Opinion Quarterly are examples of acclaimed research publications in the field of communication. The first step in publishing articles in a research journal is to find the right journal in the given subject and then read the author's instructions for submission of manuscripts. Invariably, all journals accept the manuscript to address essential questions in specific areas of research. Contributors are expected to follow the guidelines in respect of length of manuscript of research article, font size, text alignment, tables and figures, and reference style and structure of the article. Structure of the research article. Now let's discuss about this aspect. The structure of a research article is almost the same in all journals. The main components of the research articles are title, author or authors, abstract, keyword list, the body, which includes the introduction, theoretical framework, review of literature, method, results, discussions and conclusion, references. Title. A good title reflects the content clearly and tells readers whether it is relevant to them. Catchy and specific title attract readers. Now let's talk about the authors. Credit of authorship should go to only those who have made contributions. The authors, while preparing manuscripts, determine the order of credited names depending on their contributions to the study. The abstract. Abstract summarizes the problem, objectives, methodology, and findings of a study in about 250 words or less, as specified in the journal instruction. References are not included in these abstracts. Now, the next important aspect is keywords. Keywords are listed below the abstract. The keywords are critical concepts that figure in the article. Listing of a few keywords is essential for indexing research articles, abstracting and indexing services used keywords to capture the research works. The body of the article will have 5 sections, which begins with a brief introduction in which the study context, theoretical framework, research problem, and rationale of the study are stated succinctly. The method section, which follows literature review section, is a relevant section, wherein the authors describe the methods or the methods used in the study. A clear description of the study method will enable other researchers to assess the method and adapt in their study. Now let's talk about the result section. The result section is similar to the data analysis and findings in the research article. It presents the findings accurately and systematically by explaining the crucial findings in textual form along with most essential tables. Discussions and conclusion. This is the final section in the body, which is the discussion and conclusion. Here, the researcher discusses the findings, arrives at conclusions. The last one would be the references. The format of citation and references varies according to the publication policy. So, the researcher should refer to the instruction for authors published by the journal and follow the suggested style. The fourth aspect which we are going to talk today is research reports. A research report, also referred to as a project report, is a comprehensive account of the study conducted by a researcher or an institution, submitted to the sponsors of such studies such as the University Grants Commission, the Indian Council for Social Science and Research, Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, and the like. Such reports are of value to the sponsors, researchers, and the public in general in understanding the reported subject from theoretical as well as practical perspectives. As the intended audience is not made up of just specialists or experts in the study area, the content must be lucid with a detailed description of technical terms. Generally, research reports follow the structural pattern of a thesis with a slight variation. A research report starts with an executive summary, which serves the same purpose as the abstract in a thesis or research article. The finding and recommendations of the study in particular are elaborately described for better comprehension from the application perspective. Now let's summarize what we have discussed until now. Research work can be considered as complete only when its knowledge output reaches the target audience. Research findings are generally published in 3 main formats: theses, research journal articles, and research reports. Beginner researchers must follow the guidelines of their respective institutions regarding thesis structure and style. Research papers for publication in journals must follow the style prescribed by the journals. Also, while presenting the study findings, researchers should not violate research ethics. Also, while presenting the study findings, researchers should not violate research ethics. The standard reporting styles and ethical aspects are discussed in the next unit of the module. Thank you.